Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
All right, let's take it from the top again. Places. Action.
Well, let's see. We have on the bags, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third.
That's what I want to find out.
I say who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third.
Are you the manager?
Yes.
You going to be the coach, too?
Yes.
And you know the fellow's name?
Well, I should.
Well, then who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who?
The guy playing first.
Who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who?
Yes.
Join us for another voyage back in time on Classic Radio Rewind. From adventures to westerns, from comedy to sci-fi, this is your ticket to Theater of the Mind. Without any further ado, here's your host for Classic Radio Rewind, Barry Slinker.
Thank you, Dex Rowe, and welcome everyone to this edition of Classic Radio Rewind. I hope that everyone is getting into the Christmas spirit this season, as we have more Christmas classics coming this week from the golden age of radio, as our month-long salute to Christmas continues. Later we'll hear from the Radio City Playhouse from 1949, followed by an episode from Family Theater from 1952, and concluding this week with Casey Crime Photographer from 1946. But starting us off this week is an episode from Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. In this episode, Miss Brooks expects to spend Christmas Eve alone as her friends are visiting their families. However, after buying a Christmas tree from a little boy who claims it's magic, she falls asleep and dreams of being surrounded by all her friends. From Christmas Day, 1955, this is Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden with Magic Christmas Tree.
Colgate Palmolive Pete, makers of Colgate Dental Cream, Luster Cream Shampoo, and Palmolive Shaving Creams, bring you Our Miss Brooks, starring Eve Arden. And we take this joyous opportunity to wish you, on behalf of Colgate Palmolive Pete, a glorious Merry Christmas. And now, Our Miss Brooks. Once again for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks, written by Al Lewis. Well, most of us spent Christmas Eve with our families and friends. But our Miss Brooks, who teaches English at Madison High School, wasn't quite so fortunate.
No, my family was too far away to visit, and it seems my friends had other plans. But I made up my mind not to brood about it, and was trimming a rather tiny tree in our living room when my landlady, Mrs. Davis, joined me.
What a nice tree, Connie.
It isn't really, Mrs. Davis, but it's the only one I could afford.
Oh, what did you pay for it?
I found it in a vacant lot. What I like about it is the size. It's not too big or too small. It's just too small.
I'd like to stay here and celebrate Christmas Eve with you, Connie, but I promised my sister Angela I'd come over to her place. You remember Angela? The absent-minded one?
Oh, certainly, Mrs. Davis.
She always got a big thrill out of the holidays, even when we were girls. Of course, the poor dear could never remember when it was actually Christmas. And one Christmas morning, she did the funniest thing.
What's that, Mrs. Davis?
What's what, dear?
What did Angela do?
Angela?
Your sister.
My sister.
The absent-minded one. What did she do?
I haven't spoken to Angela in some time. What has she been up to?
That's what I'd like to know. Maybe I can refresh your memory. Christmas morning, Angela did the funniest thing.
Christmas morning isn't until tomorrow, Connie. You must be confused.
Well, don't worry about it. I only get these spells once in a while.
Now, I've developed a little scheme which works wonders for me. Supposing you have trouble remembering where you put things around the house. Well, you just keep repeating the location to yourself with a sort of rhythm. For example, I just chant to myself, the mustard's in the closet, the bread is in the box. The mustard's in the closet, the bread is in the box. The mustard's in the closet, the bread is in the box. Now, isn't that simple?
Oh.
Mustard's in the closet, the bread is...
That's wonderful, Mrs. Davis. If anybody wants a mustard sandwich, you're really ready.
Yes. Now, before I do anything else, I want to invite you to join me tonight.
Join you?
Yes, dear. I'm going over to
Angela's house?
Yeah, that's right. She's so cute with that little absent mind of hers. Why, sometimes she forgets what she's talking about right in the middle of a sentence, and... Oh, dear me, I hope that cat's got enough milk.
Well, I'm sure if we, But then, maybe someday, or if it doesn't seem to... And that's why I can't join you tonight. Thanks anyway, Mrs. Davis. I'll just spend a quiet evening at home here.
But how about Mr. Boynton? Don't tell me he was too shy to ask you for a date on Christmas Eve.
Why do you think there's mistletoe on all four walls? No, Mr. Boynton asked me all right, but then he canceled yesterday. Said he's going upstate to visit his folks for a couple of days. But don't worry about me, Mrs. Davis. I'll have a gay time. I'll listen to the radio, read, and from this window I can see our neighbor's television antenna. What's that, Mrs. Davis?
It's Minerva. Where are you, dear?
Oh, she's over by the tree. Here, Rover. Minerva.
Isn't it the strangest thing how she bites at the pine needles? I guess the rosin in them appeals to her. I'd swear she likes the taste of it.
I guess to her it's like a Tom and Jerry, or rather a Minnie and Mickey. Come on, Minerva, come on over here. We might as well get friendly. We're going to spend the evening together.
Well, I'll be running along now, dear. I hope you won't feel too lonely.
Oh, I'll be fine, Mrs. Davis. After all, I do have an imagination. I'll hang my stocking up in a little while, and then when I'm pretending that I'm asleep, I'll sneak in and fill it. Oh, before you know it, it'll be midnight.
Midnight of Christmas Eve.
I can just picture it. A short, thin man in a black suit comes sliding down the chimney with an empty bag. St. Penniless, the schoolteacher Santa Claus.
Well, at least you're not bitter. Now, Connie, about my sister,
Angela?
Oh, thank you, dear. About my sister Angela.
Yes?
Good night, Dorothy.
Good night, Bernice. Oh, stop drinking those pine needles, Minerva. Come on over here. There's a good kitty. Now I'll just settle down in Mrs. Davis's rocker, and we'll have ourselves a nice, quiet rock. I've got to exercise more. My bones are rusting. Oh, it's the rocker. It's kind of soothing at that. You seem contented enough, Minerva. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Ooh, sorry, Minerva. I didn't mean to upset you, Minerva. Oh, gosh, I'm sleepy. Now, who can that be? Expecting anyone, Minerva? That's funny. There's nobody here.
I'm here.
Where? Oh, leaning on my knee. What can I do for you?
Well, I'm a salesman, but I don't believe in giving any sales talk or sob stories. All I do is tell you what I'm selling. And if you want to buy, okay. If not, okay.
Okay, what are you selling?
Well, it's Christmas Eve, and I'm just a small urchin, a little on the underprivileged side. And I'm trying to make a few dollars to get some wood to heat our tiny apartment so that while she's singing to my 3 sick sisters, my mother's lips don't turn blue.
That's what I like, no sob stories. You're selling handkerchiefs, I'll take 6.
Oh, no, ma'am, I'm selling Christmas trees. They're only $1 a piece.
But I've already got a Christmas tree.
But I'll make it 50 cents.
But I don't need
How about a quarter?
Look, little boy.
Well, payments can be arranged. Oh, please take one, ma'am. These aren't ordinary trees, you know. They're magic.
Magic?
Yes, ma'am. You'd be surprised what miracles will happen to you if you buy one.
Well, a quarter isn't too much to pay for a miracle.
It's 50 cents.
I thought you said 25.
That's when you sounded tougher to sell.
Oh, well, before I melt down to my coal buttons and the stovepipe hat, here's 50 cents.
You won't be sorry, ma'am. Here's the little tree.
Say, it is kind of cute at that. Would you like to come in and help me set it up?
I can't. I've got to get right home. My sitter's been alone long enough.
Sitter? Well, what about your mother and the firewood?
Well, that's just a routine. My folks are attending a dinner the other bank presidents are giving for Father.
With the pitch you've got, you'll have your own bank by the time you're 12.
Thanks a lot. Good night, lady, and Merry Christmas.
Same to you, you little underprivileged millionaire. I'll put this tree over here. Maybe we can find some extra trimmings for it in the morning. Minerva, will you stop gnawing on those pine needles? I wish I knew what made them so appetizing to her. Oh, fine. Now you come over here and let those things alone. There we are. Well, I guess I'm not the only one that's spending Christmas Eve alone without family or friends. But who can tell? Maybe Santa Claus has something up his big red sleeve that I don't even know about yet. Of course, I do have a squeaky rocker and Minerva. Jingle bells, and merry stuff like that. Oh, what fun it is to rock with a big, fat, drunken cat. As I sat in the living room Christmas Eve with Minerva the cat on my lap, I couldn't help noticing that the tree which I'd bought from that wealthy urchin had a rather peculiar luminosity. Although there wasn't any artificial illumination, it seemed to glow from deep down in its branches. As I rocked back and forth, I started to get very drowsy. Little boy said this tree was magic, Minerva. No, I don't believe it either. Still, it is Christmas Eve, and some very strange things have happened on Christmas Eve. What's that? Oh, I must have been dozing. Coming! Well, it's Walter Denton. Come in, Walter.
Noel, joyeux Noel.
Gracias. Come on into the living room, Walter.
Thanks, Miss Brooks. Here, I brought you this little gift to put under your tree.
Oh, that was very thoughtful, Walter. Put it under this tree over here.
Okay. Say, you've got two trees, haven't you?
Yes, one for Minerva and one for me.
What?
Don't pay any attention to her. She's pine needle happy.
Well, Miss Brooks, as you know, I was supposed to spend the evening nestled snugly in the tight little confines of my own small immediate family circle.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, come out of there. You're giving me claustrophobia.
But I went to my father and mother and crowed their permission to come over.
Wait a minute, Walter. You crove their permission to?
Yeah. Craven, crove, isn't it?
Oh, Walter, of course not. Craved. Let's see. Craven. After you crove their permission, what happened?
Well, they waved my presence for a long enough while for me to deliver to you, Miss Brooks, the little token of my esteem and affection, which is now ensconcing under the tree.
Walter, are you still in my English class?
Well, sure, Miss Brooks.
Well, I'd better bone up a little. One of us is going to flunk this term.
Well, it isn't just the gift, Miss Brooks. That's not the only thing that brought me wayfaring from the warmth and conviviality of my own heart.
Oh, please don't start that again. I'm glad you dropped over, Walter. And if you want to spend the rest of the evening with your folks, why
there's
you
no
go...
rush with them. They've got my present under our tree already. Now, what I'd like to say, Miss Brooks, though, is something I've wanted to say for a long while.
Yes, Walter?
Now, it's a little on the sentimental side, perhaps, for a so-called hep high school boy to be telling a teacher, but it's sincere, Miss Brooks.
I'm sure it is.
It's something I feel deep down inside of me, Miss Brooks. from whence so many of one's warmer emotions stem.
That's whence they stem from, all right.
Of course, even if it does seem over-sentimental or even downright sticky, Christmas Eve seems to be the time that you can say things like this and not sound over-sentimental or sticky.
Christmas Eve is the time to say them. I just hope I hear them by New Year's Eve.
What I want you to know, Miss Brooks, is that I'm grateful.
For what, Walter?
For my association with you during the past semester at Madison High School.
Well, thank you, Walter. I've tried to be a capable teacher.
Oh, your teaching was nothing.
What?
I don't mean scholastically. No, as a teacher, you were very adequate. I mean personally. The interest you took in me and my problems. For that, I could never thank you if I lived to be 100. Of course, you'd be gone a long time by then.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
You don't know what it's meant to me to have your ear whenever I needed it.
Oh, it was nothing, really. I have another one.
Especially about girls. Gosh, you remember how silly I used to act about girls? Every time one of them looked at me, I giggled like a kid. And then, overnight, I matured. I met the one woman who really mattered. Harriet Conklin.
She certainly made something out of you, Walter. I don't know what, but something.
You saw me through the difficult transition period of that amour as well. While Harriet and I were adjusting to one another. It was wonderful to be able to come down to you for advice, Miss Brooks. It isn't every boy who has such an interest taken in him by some intelligent, elderly person.
Give me back my ear. I can't hear you.
Not that you're ancient or anything. Gosh, I've seen girls who don't look as good as you do.
Girls? What do you think I am? Shut up, Minerva.
By the way, Miss Brooks, I see you got lots of mistletoe on the walls. Were you expecting Mr. Boynton tonight?
Yes, Walter, I was. We were going for a wheelchair ride together. He had to visit his folks upstate.
His folks? Gosh, they must be well along in years.
His father's over 50. They may shoot him next spring. Look, Walter, while you're here, you might as well pick up the little gift I got for you.
Oh, but Miss Brooks, you shouldn't have. Where is it?
Under the tree on your right. It isn't much, just a remembrance.
Oh, gee, I almost forgot. I can't open it yet.
Why not? Oh, you mean you want to put it under your tree at home and open it with your family?
Oh, not exactly, but... Well, I'll get it later, Miss Brooks. Oh, there they are now. I'll answer it.
There who are now?
Come on in, folks. She was all alone when I got here.
But it's really a surprise, isn't it?
We should have stayed home Christmas Eve. Besides, it's freezing out.
Now, Osgood, don't be so grouchy. Hello, Miss Brooks. Merry Christmas.
Why, it's Mr. and Mrs. Conklin. And Harriet, how are you all?
I'm cold.
Oh, that's too bad. Come here, Minerva. Rub up against Mr. Conklin.
What's that? What did you... Go away, cat.
Why, she seems to like you, Osgood. Or is she hungry, Miss Brooks?
She's not that hungry.
I don't like cats. Why doesn't she go chase a mouse or something?
Oh, you forget, Mr. Conklin, this is Christmas Eve. There isn't one stirring.
Say, Harriet.
Yes, Walter?
There's a lot of mistletoe around this room.
I know. It's real pretty.
Osgood, notice all the mistletoe in this room?
What? Oh, that green stuff. Yeah. More often than not, it makes me sneeze.
Oh, come on, Osgood. Let's see if it does.
Oh, now, Martha, don't embarrass me so.
It doesn't make you sneeze, does it, Harriet?
I'm willing to find out. Here's a nice wreath of it on this wall.
Yeah. Well, here we are.
Yes, here we are.
May I, Mr. and Mrs. Conklin?
If it's all right with Harriet, it's all right with us.
Oh, come on, Walter. We're getting old.
Gosh, you're sweet, Harriet.
Oh, isn't that cute, Osgood? Come here, dear. How about one for your faithful old wife?
Well, it is customary, I guess. I'm under the stuff.
Now, pucker up, dear.
Very well. Yeah. You see, I told you. Now, let's stop this romantic drivel and act like adult human beings. Miss Brooks, I'd like to take advantage of this visit to inquire as to your plans for the coming year's classwork. Do you have your schedule all laid out?
Well, frankly, Mr. Conklin, I haven't had much chance to work on anything.
Haven't had much of a chance, but you've been away from school all week. Your vacation started last Monday.
I know, Mr. Conklin, and that's what I took the week as. I mean, a vacation is something you go on when you get the opportunity to. You don't work on it or during it, unless, even though I didn't actually go anywhere, when my vacation came along, I went on it or was on one, usually.
And you wanted to be the head of the English department.
Please, Osgood, this is no time to talk of school affairs. We're here to spend part of our holiday with Miss Brooks.
It was very nice of you to think about me, Mrs. Conklin. It was nice of all of you. Where are Walter and Harriet?
Denton, get my daughter away from that mistletoe at once.
But, Mr. Conklin, Harriet isn't allergic to mistletoe.
No, but I'm allergic to you.
Harriet's almost irresistible sometimes, especially alongside of older women like Mrs. Conklin and Miss Brooks.
Saved by the bell. I'll get it. Why, Mr. Boynton, come in.
Oh, thanks, Miss Brooks.
I thought you were going upstate to see your folks.
Well, I was, but they sent me a wire that they wanted to come down here for a week or so. They'll arrive in the morning, so I thought I'd drop this little gift off for you tonight.
Oh, but you shouldn't have. Where is it? Let's just put it under the tree in the living room. Look who's here, everybody.
Well, it's Mr. Boynton. Hi there, Mr. V.
This is nice.
Mr. Boynton.
Boynton. Hello, folks.
This is beginning to get more like Christmas Eve every minute. Sit down, Mr. Boynton. I'm certainly glad your folks decided to visit you instead of vice versa.
Oh, so am I. There's a particularly good reason why I'm glad.
There is?
Well, yes. It gives me a chance to see how my guinea pigs are affected by this cold snap. So far, they haven't reacted at all.
What do you expect them to do, blow on their paws?
Miss Brooks, have you pointed out the mistletoe to Mr. Boynton?
Oh, why don't you stop that nonsense, Martha?
It isn't nonsense. Mr. Boynton, look at the mistletoe.
Mistletoe? Oh, yes. A very interesting example of the flora found in various areas throughout the globe. An evergreen parasitic shrub, it is indigenous to the regions where apple trees and oaks abound.
Now that the lecture is over, may we ask questions?
Well, certainly, Miss Brooks.
Want to stand under it?
Stand under it? Well, you see, because of certain characteristics in its makeup, an allergy is sometimes aggravated by its presence.
I'll take a chance if you will.
Come on, Mr. Boynton. Yeah, come on, Mr. Boynton.
Just bring him over to this wall here.
I'll get under it if you like.
Well, don't just stand there. Can't you see Miss Brooks is cooking?
Well, don't fuss for me. I couldn't eat a thing.
Mr. Boynton, don't you know what standing under the mistletoe signifies?
I know what it signifies to most people, but to me it's just...
Well, there goes 85 cents worth of mistletoe.
Hey, I know what let's do. Let's open up the presents right now.
Swell. A splendid suggestion, Walter.
Shouldn't we wait until just before we leave? Might be less embarrassing that way.
Well, if you want to open them now,
Golly, this one tree is pretty crowded. I'll put some of these packages under this little one over here.
Look out, Walter. You're bumping into one of the branches. Look out.
Gosh, I got the funniest feeling when I touched that branch.
What kind of a feeling, Walter?
Oh, you're Harriet Conklin, aren't you?
Well, sure, I'm Harriet Conklin. Walter, what's the matter with you?
Nothing. Nothing's the matter with me. It's just that I want to tell you something. Harriet, you've got to change. You ought to try to be more like Miss Brooks.
What do you mean, Walter?
If you want me to stay interested in you, you've got to be more alluring, youthful, glamorous, feminine in that real feline Brooks way.
Walter, have you been drinking pine needles, too?
Look at that tree. It seems to be glowing.
What do you mean, glowing? Just a reflection from the streetlights. This party is giving me the memes. Holidays, indeed. Here, I'll just move the tree where it won't glisten in our eyes. There we go. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
Why, Mr. Conklin.
Of course I'm Mr. Conklin. Happy-go-lucky, fun-loving, gag-a-minute Osgood.
Gag-a-minute Osgood?
Sometimes I've wanted to.
Miss Brooks, is that really you standing there?
I think so, Mr. Conklin. Why do you ask?
Because you suddenly look so different, so intelligent. Miss Brooks, I've made up my mind. You are now head of the Madison High English Department.
Well, thank you, fun-loving Osgood.
I'm going to put this wonderful tree where it belongs, right in the center of the room. Give me a hand, Boynton.
Oh, yes, sir, Mr. Conklin. I'll just take this end here and... Miss Brooks,
Yes, Mr. Boynton?
come here, baby.
What?
I said, come here, Connie.
You did not. You said, come here, baby, and I'm here.
Look, he's taking her over to the mistletoe.
Oh, isn't it wonderful? Well, what are you going to do, Mr. Boynton?
Now, just call me Phil, Connie. And this is what I'm going to do. Connie, how does that make you feel?
Oh, I feel like I'm in a dream, Philip. A wonderful, beautiful dream. Well, what's that? Mr. Boynton, where did you go? Where is everybody? Oh, I must have been dreaming. Well, that's real enough. I'll be right there. Oh, sorry, Minerva. I didn't mean to drop you.
I'm cold.
Why, it's the Conklins and Walter and Mr. Boynton. But you all just left. Come in.
We thought it would be nice if we spent our Christmas Eve together, Miss Brooks.
Yes, and we brought a few little gifts over for you.
I'll just put them under this tree here.
Yes, do that, Walter.
Aren't you going to ask me why I didn't go upstate, Miss Brooks?
I know why, Mr. Boynton. Your folks are coming down to see you.
Well, how did you know about that? I just got the telegram.
Don't let's get too carried away with the holidays to prepare for the hard school season ahead, Miss Brooks.
Oh, let's not talk about school affairs now, Osgood.
Walter, look at the mistletoe.
Yeah, look at it.
Now, just a minute. Before we go through all that again, would you please touch that tree, Mr. Boynton? The one on the left with the... Why, it's gone. There's only one tree.
Miss Brooks, are you all right?
Of course I'm all right. Could I have dreamt that part, too? Mr. Boynton, would you do me a favor, please?
Of course, Miss Brooks. What is it?
Would you touch the Christmas tree?
Touch it? But...
Please, it's important.
Oh, all right. There.
Nothing happened.
What did you expect would happen?
A miracle. Oh, excuse me. I'll be right back.
Oh, I'm a little urchin, and I'm selling magic Christmas trees.
But you just...
Please buy one, lady. They only cost 50 cents apiece.
50 cents?
That's right.
Here's $2. Give me 4 of them.
Once again, here is Eve Arden.
All over the studio here, there are happy signs of Christmas. Bits of red and green, holly, and some imaginative person even hung some mistletoe in the control room. Must remember to drop in there after the show. But the Christmas spirit is even more evident in the faces of our cast. together with our sponsor, the Colgate Palmolive Peat Company, makers of Colgate Dental Cream, Luster Cream Shampoo, and Palmolive Shaving Creams, we join in wishing you a Merry Christmas. Yes, Jeff Chandler and Gail Gordon, Jane Morgan, Virginia Gordon, Dick Crenna, Gloria McMillan, Jeffrey Silver, our writer-director Al Lewis, and our producer Larry Burns, our conductor Wilbur Hatch, and all the others on the Our Miss Brooks show. And we're gathered here to say, may this be the most joyous of the holidays for all of you.
For mystery liberally sprinkled with laughs, listen to Mr. and Mrs. North, the exciting, fun-packed adventures of an amateur detective and his beautiful wife. Tune in Tuesday evening over most of these same stations. And be with us again next week at this same time for another comedy episode of Our Miss Brooks. Bob Lamont speaking. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
That was Our Miss Brooks with Magic Christmas Tree, as originally heard Christmas Day, 1955. Next up on Classic Radio Rewind is one of my personal favorites. A newspaper man and his photographer are shanghaied on Christmas Eve by the editor's bossy wife to find and deliver 2 goats and a red wagon. Hijinks and hilarity ensue as they reluctantly take on this challenge, but it does beg the question, where would you find a couple of goats harnessed to a red wagon on Christmas Eve? From Christmas Day, 1949, this is Radio City Playhouse starring Lyle Sudrow and Bernard Grant with "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
The National Broadcasting Company presents Radio City Playhouse, Attraction 66. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the director of Radio City Playhouse, Harry W. Junkin.
Thank you, Fred. Good afternoon, everybody. It seems to us that there are few things more appropriate as a Christmas gift to Radio City Playhouse listeners than a story by the inimitable Paul Gallico. Since 1936, when he first entered the short story field, he has been published regularly by such magazines as the Saturday Evening Post, Collier's, Cosmopolitan, and Esquire, and today we welcome him to Radio City Playhouse. Here then, with our very best wishes, is our Christmas Day broadcast. Lyle Sudrow as Perry Brown, Bernard Grant as Al Vogel in "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" by Paul Gallico, Attraction 66 on Radio City Playhouse.
It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon of Saturday, December the 24th, in the city room of the Daily Blade. Almost everybody has gone home. A couple of office boys are yawning on the call bench. 3 rewrite men are pecking away at their typewriters and watching the clock. At the head of the room, Tex Court, the city editor, is talking earnestly into the telephone with a hunted look on his face. Nearer the door, Perry Brown, the Daily Blade's best reporter, is chatting with Al Vogel, his photographer. They're both about to leave for Rusty's party when Perry's telephone rings.
Hello, Perry Brown. Oh, hello, Rusty. Yes, we're just leaving. I'm all cleaned up. The tree come? Good. No, Vogel's sitting on my desk. We'll leave together. Oh, honey, I'm going to trim that tree with diamonds, rubies, and sapphires.
That'll run into dough.
Vogel says that'll run into dough. Huh? Oh, darling, if you play Holy Night, I'll cry. Yes, I will. I get very sentimental about Christmas. Yeah, Vogel will cry, too, won't you, Al?
Oh, absolutely.
All right, we'll all cry, and it'll be a wonderful party. Oh, now, darling, don't worry about the Christmas tree fires. They won't break out until 9 o'clock, and besides, I'd quit before I'd miss the party. Okay, anything you want me to bring? Just me? Okay. Love you.
Hey, why don't you marry the girl and put her out of her misery?
I'm working on it by this time next year. Come on, Al, let's get out of here.
Right behind you.
Let's go say Merry Christmas to Tex. Come on.
It's a good idea. Come on.
Rusty's as excited about this Christmas party as a 5-year-old kid. It's our first real planned party.
No kidding.
Yes, Mrs. Pettinsall, I understand, and I'm sure we can take care of it by 11 o'clock at number 3 Courtney Towers. You harness to the wagon, yes.
Mrs. Pettinsall.
It's all right, Mrs. Pettinsall. I'll keep in touch with you. Same to you. Goodbye.
Al and I are just leaving, Tex. Merry Christmas, and try to get up to Rusty's party if you can, will you? What's the matter?
Perry, I meant to let you and Al go, but something unforeseen has come.
No, you promised us the night off.
You did, Tex.
Yes, I know. And you'll get to Rusty's party later. Did you, hear anything of that telephone conversation I just had?
You, mean Mrs. Pettinsall?
Tex.
Her nephews have arrived unexpectedly from the West. She wants a Christmas present for her.
Oh, no.
She wishes us to secure a pair of goats for her.
Goats?
Harness to a red wagon.
Oh, you're kidding.
Goats?
Harness to a red wagon.
Is she crazy? Where can you find a couple of goats and a red wagon on Christmas
Yeah,
Eve?
where can you find a couple of goats?
You mean where can you find them?
Oh, Tex, no.
It'll be all right if the outfit arrives at 3 Courtney Towers by 11 tonight.
I won't do it. I promised Rusty.
And I promised the wife of our editor and managing director that I'd get her 2 goats.
All right, we quit, don't we, Al?
Absolutely,
we
we
told
quit.
Rusty nothing would keep us away from her first party.
Listen, Perry, Al, I'm sorry, but I'm on the spot. Do you think I get a kick out of having my reporters used as footmen? Mrs. Pettinsall's a bad little girl. She's a gadfly sent to try us. I'm sorry, but it's all a part of the screwy business, and she is the wife of our managing director. Now, please, Perry. There's nobody else to send, please.
I can't. Rusty'll give me the air.
That she'll understand. She's a newspaper woman.
No, not tonight she isn't. Tonight she's a kid having her first Christmas party.
You'll just be a little late. Here, I'll give you a petty cash slip. Get upstairs and cash it before 5. How much? The sky's the limit.
All right, $1,000.
I said the sky, not the stratosphere.
You want your stinking goats, don't you? How do I know what I'll run up against? I may have to buy them from the zoo.
Okay. Here. Need any help, call me.
Oh, thank you. And you call Rusty. I haven't got the nerve. She'll think I'm drunk.
All right.
Call her up and say you sent me out to get 2 goats and a red wagon. Oh, boy, she'll love you. Come on, Al.
Maybe we can get the goats quick somehow.
Here, where are you going first, Perry?
Where would you go to get goats? Brooklyn.
Gee, Perry, it's nice driving over Brooklyn Bridge at night, ain't it?
Yeah. Holy night, silent night, where can I find 2 goats?
The old bridge looks pretty tonight with all the lights on it and everything.
Yeah. Where can I find 2 goats?
Hey, just look at the lights on the water, Perry, and the piers.
Yeah.
Look, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, Perry, look.
Huh?
Hey, that flash of flame down there. Look, will you? Hey, Perry, one of the piers is on fire. Look, will you?
Yeah. Lovely fire. Maybe it'll burn all night. Too bad we can't go.
What do you mean we can't go? You nuts?
My dear Al, consider your position. We're in the service of the rich. We're after goats. We're not reporters. We're lackeys. Mrs. Pettinsall would be very, very angry if we went to a fire instead of buying her 2 goats harnessed to a red wagon.
Perry, we gotta look. It's spread. Look at the orange and the yellow.
I know.
It's like an atomic bomb. Will you look?
Al.
Maybe I can grab a shot. Now, slow down, Perry, please. Maybe I can get a picture from here.
No, Al. We must let nothing turn us from our duty. We're not reporters. We're butlers.
Well, I got it anyway. And maybe that won't be the picture of the year.
The first little goat silky and white, and I hope it gives Mrs. Pettinsall a bite.
Hey, Perry, will you stop singing? I know we shouldn't have gone in any bars looking for goats.
Oh, and where else would you look for a goat?
Hey, Perry, look, that taxi. Look. An ambulance. It's been an accident. Look. Perry, slow down, please, will you? Hey, that woman, she's hurt. Please, Perry, slow down. Let me get a picture, will you?
No. What would Mrs. Pettinsall say if she ever found out you went around shooting a camera at people?
I got it.
Oh, stop taking pictures.
Hey, you know what? You're lost, that's what. We're lost in Brooklyn, and we'll be here for years and years.
We are not lost. If you'd stop taking pictures, you'd see that we're now approaching Cypress and 283rd, and if our friend the bartender is correct, we're about to get our first goat.
Didn't he have any number?
No. Brown shack at the corner of Cypress and 283rd. That must be it over there, beside those signboards.
Hey, what is it, a garbage dump? Or is that the goats I smell?
Rudolph, please, be a good goat, will you? Now, come on.
What's he stopping for?
I don't know. Please, Rudolph, we're almost at the car. Now, in a little while, you'll meet Mrs. Pettinsall. You like her.
You can't pull them if they don't want to.
Now, look, Rudolph, I paid $100 for you. Will you please act like a $100 goat?
Hey, he's sniffing at something on the ground.
Huh?
Yeah. Hey, Perry, look.
What?
Perry. It's a body.
What?
Yeah, in a sack. Suffering cats. There's a note on it.
Give me your flashlight. Hey. Merry Christmas from the boys.
Wow. I think I know him. Hey, flashlight in his face, huh?
Yeah.
Holy cow, Perry, it's ProGuard at the Ace office.
Yeah.
Oh.
He had his nose in a poultry racket, didn't he?
Yeah.
Merry Christmas from the boys. What a story.
How?
Well, too bad we're busy.
Perry, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding. Business before pleasure. We're still one goat shy. ProGuard.
Well, let me take a couple of pictures.
Okay, but make it snappy. All right, Rudolph. I'll give you one more chance. Are you or are you not going to get into the car without being kicked? Rudolph, stay in the back seat, will you? And stop kissing me. I'm driving.
Yeah, and you should have stuck to lemonade.
Oh, you should talk. While I think of it, who did you phone in that last tavern?
The office, Tex.
Oh, what'd you tell him?
Nothing at all. He said Rusty had phoned and said you needn't bother coming to the party no matter how early you got through.
Oh.
And I just sort of casually mentioned the fire and the ProGuard murder.
That'll teach him to send us out after goats.
Where'd that bartender say we should go?
Oh, guy by the name of Constantine Buonacasa.
Huh?
It's just a couple of blocks more.
Well, now what's the matter with Rudolph?
I believe he is slightly loaded. He downed a whole can of beer the barkeep gave him.
More likely it's the can. He downed that, too.
Mr. Buonacasa?
Yes?
Well, my friend here and I, curious as it may seem, are seeking to purchase a goat.
Yeah, goat.
Yeah, goat. Jerry, the bartender at Mike's Tavern, said you had goats.
You make the joke, eh?
No.
Come on, now we got company. You drink a glass of wine, everything should be all right. Christmas time, everybody should feel okay.
Look, any time but Christmas Eve, it might be a gag. It's dead on the level, brother. I gotta get another goat. Now, have you got one?
And we ain't kidding.
This is no funny business.
Honest.
All right. You coming with me?
Yeah. You have got goats, haven't you?
Sure, I got the goat. Paolo and Francesca. They man and a wife.
Oh.
Nice goats, good goats. You like a goat, eh?
Sure. Yeah, we love goats, don't we, Al?
Oh, yeah. Especially on Christmas Eve, we love goats.
Yeah.
It's in here, the shed. There, Paolo and Francesca.
Go. Oh, the ain't got him yet.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Buonacasa.
See?
How much for the big one?
Ma che vergogna. I tell you, the name is Paolo and Francesca. This is a husband and a wife. I know sell one. You married man. I think you understand, eh?
Forgive me, old man. You're right. I don't know what I was thinking about.
Yeah. They look so pretty. They're in love.
Oh, yeah. Look. Yeah, sure. Look, Mr. Buonacasa, I got a goat outside.
Yes?
Swellest goat you ever saw. Rudolph. He loves everybody.
Crazy about everything.
Yeah, what about a deal? I buy Paolo and Francesca. You take Rudolph and part swap, huh? Yeah, you can have one swell, loving goat and some cash. Everybody, she's a happy, huh?
I don't want one goat.
No?
No.
What's the matter with having one goat?
What good is one goat except to another goat?
Except... Look, Mr. Buonacasa, it's a deal. How much?
Well, I'm not sure I want much to sell now.
$300?
Amici, she's good. Paolo and Francesca, they're yours. Now, you come in the house and we have some wine. It's a party. We sing songs. We lift the ceiling.
I know we shouldn't have stayed at Buonacasa's party so long. I just knew it. Perry, please stop, will ya? If I don't eat soon, I'm going to die. Now, please. We got the goats. We got 3 goats, in fact. Let's eat and get them up to Mrs. Pettenstall's, huh? Will you shut up, Rudolph? You too, Francesca. Will you pipe down? Holy smokes, we're up to our neck in goats. What are we going to do with 3 goats, Perry?
What are we going to do?
If we don't eat soon, Perry, I'm going to be sick. You know something, Perry? I wouldn't have blamed that waiter if he'd have socked you. Russian caviar in a dump like this. You kidding?
Draw 2, 1 black.
Al, I'm sleeping. Now, please, do not disturb me. Allow me to sit here with my head in my hands and suffer. Oh, stop nudging me, Al. Will you stop nudging me?
Good evening, all. Mind if I join the party?
Rusty.
Hello, Perry. Don't suppose you'd mind if I sat down.
You're sore.
Not at all. It's been a perfect Christmas Eve.
How'd you find us?
You left a trail a blind man could follow. When I saw your car parked outside with 3 goats in the back seat, I sort of figured you might be in here.
Oh, don't be sore, Rusty. Don't be
Sore? Why should I be sore?
What are you doing away from the party?
There is no party.
Huh?
Can I have some coffee, too?
What do you mean?
I'm working. Everybody's working. There's never been a Christmas like it before. Progower was murdered. Progower of the DA's office.
Oh, for goodness sake. Well, fancy that.
It also happens that Pier 547 Brooklyn blew up.
Not really.
Perry, why do you drink?
Because they sent me out on Christmas Eve to buy 2 goats and a red wagon.
Oh. Have you got the wagon?
The wagon. The wagon.
Oh, I haven't got the wagon.
Well, I have. That's one reason I'm here. Tex thought you'd forget.
Where is it?
Outside my car.
Oh, Rusty, you're wonderful.
Am I?
We got 1 goat too many, Rusty.
You noticed it, too, did you? Isn't Mrs. Pettenstall going to be surprised?
What's the matter with them now?
They're frightened.
Now, listen, Goat, you're out of the elevator. All you got to do is walk down this nice, quiet hall here, see? That's it. Now, just walk slowly down the hall to apartment 3. Yeah, and stop kissing. Oh, look, Rusty, Rudolph loves me.
It's 11:15. The Pettensalls will be home in
Yeah.
15 minutes.
All right. Vogel, you take Paulo. Rusty, you grab Francesca.
Come on.
For you, Rudolph.
Whoever answers this door is in for an awful shock.
You ain't kidding.
Rudolph, he loves me, kissing me. Merry Christmas, Rudolph. You're the sweetest little goat in the whole wide world.
Good heavens.
Are you the Pettensalls' butler?
I am, sir. And might I ask what you are?
Move over. We got goats. You got a bathroom with a sunken tub? Hold still, Rudolph. There. I guess you're clean.
Oh, they both look like fluffy little lambs.
Yeah. Oh, but Rudolph here doesn't deserve a bath after smashing the Pettensalls' mirror.
Well, he couldn't help it. The first time he'd ever seen himself and that mean expression on his face.
All right. Hold still, Rudolph. You'll be dry in a minute. That's a boy. Give me another towel, Rusty.
Harry, you've used 5 already. Bathroom looks like a nightmare.
That's a boy. Yeah, well, you can't deliver dirty goats to Mrs. Pettensall. Say, he's real cute when he's clean, isn't he?
What's Vogel doing?
Making a harness out of neckties.
Darn. Let's get him harnessed to the wagon and get out of here before the Pettensalls arrive.
Yeah. Come on, Rudolph. You look swell. Well, come on, Rusty. Open the door. Yeah. Oh, hey, this is sure some dump. Oh, how's the harness coming, Al?
I used Mr. Pettensoul's neckties. Hey, look at it. Swell, ain't it?
Oh,
Al,
yeah.
it's the nicest harness I've ever seen.
Yeah. Hey, did you ever see a tree like that in your whole life?
Never. And I never will. I'll never, ever have a Christmas like other people. Never.
Well, let's get him harnessed.
There. Finished. Red wagon and all.
Yeah.
Now, don't they look cute?
Paolo and Francesca, man and wife. Makes me want to cry. Oh, what are they doing to the tree?
Looks to me as if they're eating it. A little at a time.
Rudolph?
Oh, good Lord.
Darn you anyway,
No,
Rudolph.
Perry, look out. He'll break the other one.
Suffering cats. Hey, hold it. Here come the Pettensalls, I bet you.
Oh, what's going on in here? My vase. Oh, both of them. What is the meaning of this? Who are you people? Alan, are these people from the paper?
I believe they are, my dear.
Get out of here. All of you. You hooligans. You're drunk.
I beg your pardon. We're not drunk.
Of course you're drunk. Otherwise, what's the meaning of the third animal?
It is a spare.
A spare? That's supposed to be funny. Will you please leave? Alan, I expect you to deal with these people tomorrow.
Oh, Rusty, I believe Mrs. Pettensall is sore.
Is she? Well, so am I. Mrs. Pettensall, you're all through with Perry Brown now, aren't you?
I don't believe I know
Yes,
who...
you are. You're through with him. He's drunk and he's dirty, and besides, he's served your purpose. He got you what you wanted, 2 goats and a red wagon on Christmas Eve. No other man in town could have done it tonight, or would have.
Get out of here, you...
You've been using our office and our staff to do your dirty work for the last 5 years.
Where?
Run errands, fetch and carry, fix things for you, play nursemaid to you. Well, that's out as far as we're concerned. And when you replace us, I suggest you go to an employment agency that furnishes trained servants. It'll be nice to know you can call up the office when you need an extra butler. Come on, boys. Come on, Rudolph. Let's get out of here. I can smell something that has nothing to do with goats. Well,
Now, my dear. Good night, Miss McGowan, Mr. Brown, Mr. Vogel. Good night.
Come on, let's get out of here. We got rid of Al.
Yeah.
Now, if we could only get rid of Rudolph.
I called up the zoo.
Well?
They didn't want a goat.
Oh.
I called up the Metropolitan Museum of Art, too.
What on earth for?
I don't know. I thought maybe because it was Christmas Eve, they might make an exception.
What do we do with him?
Honey, I don't know, but I'm not going to abandon Rudolph on some cold, vacant lot. He's got a right to Christmas, too.
Well, where'll we take him?
I don't know. I guess we'll just wander around Brooklyn with him until we die of old age. No, don't kiss me when I'm driving, Rudolph. He loves me, Rusty.
I know. I do, too.
Yeah. Do you?
Mm-hmm. For heaven's sakes, let's get some coffee. I'm perishing with a cold, Terry. Look, there's a place. Come on, stop, Terry.
All right. Do you think you love me as much as Rudolph loves me?
I think I do.
Okay, then I'll buy you some coffee. All right, now get Rudolph out on your side.
Can't he stay in the car?
Well, Rudolph's got a right to his Christmas, too. Attaboy. Go on, Rudolph. Go with Rusty. That's a fella.
Come on, Rudolph. Good old Rudolph.
Oh, Rusty, honey, I just couldn't leave Rudolph without a home on Christmas Eve. It wouldn't be human.
I know. Do you suppose we'll have to keep him forever?
I don't know. Here we are. All right, now. Sit down, Rudolph. Sit down beside us and shut up.
Hey, mister, you can't bring that goat in
Oh,
here.
yes, we can. It's Christmas Eve. Coffee and donuts for two and some wheat biscuits for Rudolph.
Is that what goats eat?
Yeah, just one of the things. No. Leave him in the box. That's right, yeah. He'll eat the box and all. He'll be hysterical when he hits the biscuits after all that cardboard.
You sure?
Yeah, thanks. Here, Rudolph, now. Don't let me hear a sound out of you.
Well, I've seen everything now. Donuts and coffee coming up.
You unhappy, kid?
Barry, I'm an awful fake. I've loved every minute of it.
No fooling.
I was mad because you wouldn't take me with you.
Oh, it's a lousy racket, but we love it. I guess we're out of it now, though. We haven't got a job, Rusty.
Oh, I think we have. Remember when Mr. Pettinsall said goodnight?
Yes?
He winked at me.
No kidding.
He's been wanting to tell her off for years.
Oh, I'll bet.
Perry, can't you remember anything that happened tonight?
Oh, some of it.
Well, you know there's a bonus waiting for you at the office?
A bonus?
Uh-huh.
What for?
For your work on the Pier 547 explosion.
What?
Vogel took a picture of it.
Yeah?
Yeah. He also took a picture of the death of some Brooklyn alderman's wife in a taxi accident, and a half a dozen of Progauer's bodies.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Vogel phoned the office around 6 and said if we would go to an address he gave us and look behind some signboards, there'd be something for us. There was. On top of Progauer's body were half a dozen plates and a note from Vogel with the captions on them. They're all over page 1 now.
Well, I'll be good old Vogel. I tried to make an honest flunky out of him, but I guess he's just a newspaper man at heart.
So you see, everything's all right.
Yeah, I guess it is.
Now, if we could only just get rid of Rudolph.
Yeah.
Hey, mister, give me 2 coffees and 2 donuts to go.
Hey, Rusty, look.
What?
That kid. Hey, Sonny. Sonny, come here, will you?
Hello, lady.
Hi, Sonny.
Hello, mister.
Hi.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you. Say, how would you like a goat for Christmas?
Her?
Him.
Honest?
Honest.
You mean just take him?
Right now. You want him?
Gee, do I? Gosh.
Call him Rudolph.
Gee, thanks, mister. Thanks a lot. Come on, Rudolph.
Well, we've done it, Rusty. We've done it. Rudolph has a home. Darling, Merry Christmas.
Terry.
Hey, cut out that kissing stuff. I run a respectable joint.
have just heard 'Twas the Night Before Christmas by Paul Gallico, starring Lyle Sudrow as Perry Brown. Bernard Grant was Al Vogel, and other members of the cast included Ross Martin, Frank Milano, Louis Van Ruten, Connie Lemke, Butch Cavell, and Grace Kelly. The special music was composed and conducted by Dr. Roy Shield. 'Twas the Night Before Christmas was adapted for radio by Harry W. Junkin, who also directed the entire production.
This is Harry Junkin again. Next week on Radio City Playhouse, Jan Miner gives vitality and charm to the role of Anne Stratton in a tender and beautiful love story called Reflection. That's next week, Reflection, Attraction 67 on Radio City Playhouse. Merry Christmas, everybody, and good afternoon.
What's on NBC tonight? There's a Christmas stocking full of entertainment. As a holiday special, Theater Guild on the Air will present Paulette Goddard and Sir Cedric Hardwicke in that perennial favorite, The Passing of the Third Floor Back. Hear this special Christmas program, Paulette Goddard and Sir Cedric Hardwicke on Theater Guild on the Air. You'll find a Merry Christmas all day long on NBC. Fred Collins speaking. Now stay tuned for James Melton and Harvest of Stars on NBC.
That was Radio City Playhouse with 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, as originally heard Christmas Day 1949. And that brings hour number 1 to an end. But we still have one more hour to go as more Christmas classics are coming your way. As Classic Radio Rewind returns on the other side of the break, we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to Classic Radio Rewind and the start of hour number 2. Kicking off this hour is an episode from Family Theater. In this episode, an innkeeper of Nazareth is jeopardized by his Roman-hating nephew, who is hiding from the Centurions. From December 17th, 1942, this is Family Theater with Crossroads of Christmas.
Family Theater presents Irene Dunn, Victor Jory, and Rita Johnson. From Hollywood, the Mutual Network, in cooperation with Family Theater, presents Crossroads of Christmas, starring Victor Jory and Rita Johnson. To introduce the drama, here is your hostess, Irene Dunn.
Thank you, Tony Lafrano. Family Theater's only purpose is to bring to everyone's attention a practice that must become an important part of our lives if we are to win peace for ourselves, peace for our families, and peace for the world. Family Theater urges you to pray together as a family. And now to our drama, The Crossroads of Christmas, starring Victor Jory as Matthew and Rita Johnson as Sarah. The time was dark and troubled. The heel of the oppressor ground into a prostrate and captive world. Injustice and favoritism sat in high places, while fear and despair were the daily fare of the unhappy millions. Hope was a luxury denied to all, except fools and children. Faith was a starveling in a famished world, and love was yet to be born. But hate was active, and rebellion, bitter little displays of violence, as when a stone is hurled from a sullen crowd into a line of soldiers.
Don't let that boy get away. Stop him. He threw the stone. Clear the way here. Clear the way. By Jupiter, I'll break my way through.
The Centurion is bleeding badly, sir.
Take a detail. Carry him back to our quarters.
Yes, sir. Did the attacker escape, sir?
Hold a moment. Quiet! Quiet! I suppose you're all congratulating yourselves that an officer of the Empire has been struck down. Let me tell you that your greasy satisfaction is premature. I saw that young dog, and I know it was not an accident that he got away. You all helped him, and for that reason, you're all equally guilty with him and should be punished. However, I'm prepared to be generous. Give me his name, any one of you, and the rest will be spared. If you don't give me that traitor's name, you'll all suffer. No one is to leave this marketplace until I'm told who it was who hurled that stone. Is that clear? I'll give you a few moments to contemplate the futility of resistance. Then, if no one has supplied me with the boy's name, we shall begin systematically flogging you, one at a time, until every treacherous back in this marketplace is bleeding. There's your choice. Supply the information or suffer the consequences.
I've never seen its like. The streets are teeming. Where have all these people come from?
There are many who claim descent from David.
Well, I've no complaints. The decree has filled my inn for the first time in many years.
Yes, every room is full, Matthew. And I've turned many away.
You're tired, Sarah. You've worked too hard.
Old age. I tire quickly these days.
Hasn't the boy helped you?
He helped earlier.
Well, where is he now?
I sent him to the marketplace. I needed some spices.
When was that?
He's been gone quite a long time. But you know how he is.
Yes, I know. He has no respect for authority.
And yet, I think he's grateful to us, Matthew.
He speaks of his gratitude, Sarah, but his words are empty. See, when he could be helping you, he's lazing in the marketplace, taking up with thieves and cutthroats who hang out there.
Oh, he's quick-tempered and willful, but he's not a bad boy.
He'll bring trouble to us, Sarah.
Oh, if he could feel closer to you, Matthew.
I've done my best. When he first came to us after your sister's death, I wanted to think of him as my own son, but he despises me, Sarah.
Oh, no, Matthew.
He's as good as told me that I'm a stupid old man content to compromise with the Romans. He has no respect for me, no love.
Oh, he's not an easy boy to know. There's a thread of violence running through him, but if you'd try again, Matthew.
Well, I'm too tired to speak further of him tonight, Sarah.
Since we had no son of our own, I had hoped.
What could that be?
More travelers seeking lodge, I suppose.
Sarah, let me in quickly.
Asa, what is it?
Oh, good evening, Asa.
No, Matthew, an evening for sorrow. A fearful evening.
What is it, Asa?
Your nephew.
I knew it.
Oh, is he in trouble?
I was on the edge of the crowd in the marketplace. The soldiers were parading, impressing all the poor country folk who've come in to enroll. Your nephew was there.
I sent him to buy spices.
I wasn't close to him, but I could see him clearly. As the soldiers passed, he picked up a rock and hurled it at... Well, the Centurion was struck.
And the boy, did they take him?
No, he escaped.
Oh, did the Romans know who threw the stone?
They're holding everyone who was in the marketplace until someone gives them the name.
And it's only a question of time until the Romans come here, and when they do not find the boy, they'll take Sarah and me.
Well, I mustn't stay, Matthew. I only wanted to warn you.
You're a good friend, Asa.
Yeah, I'm sorry to have brought you such bad news, Matthew. God be with you.
Thank you, Asa. It was a great risk you took. God be with you.
They'll kill him, Matthew. There's nothing we can do to save him.
Or to save ourselves.
He's not bad.
He strikes out with no thought of consequences for others. It's the Romans. They've come for him.
Oh, I've never known a Roman to knock so gently.
We know nothing of him. Do you understand? We're not in sympathy with him or his ideas.
I beg your pardon. I know it is late, but I am seeking a night's lodging for...
We're full. No rooms left.
It's the same wherever we ask. If there were a corner, any shelter at all from the night's chill...
Didn't you hear? We've nothing for you.
I thank you. I did not mean to anger you, sir. It's just that we have traveled far, and my wife is...
Your wife? Is she with you?
Yes, and she is very tired. But I will not trouble you further. If you have no room...
Wait.
What are you thinking of, Sarah?
There's the stable, Matthew. if they'd like to stay there.
Sarah, with all this trouble, we can't
The
be
stable
bothered.
would be fine. Any shelter.
I don't think we can
Oh,
possibly...
please, Matthew. His wife seems so tired, and she's with child.
Very well, you may lodge in our stable.
I'll take them around to the courtyard, Matthew.
This is most kind of you.
Don't thank me, thank my wife. What's your name, traveler, for my records?
I am Joseph, son of Jacob, carpenter of Nazareth.
If there's anything else I can do, call me. I won't be asleep.
You've already been most kind. We thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Aunt Sarah.
Oh, you frightened me. What have you done? What have you done?
Have the Romans come for me?
No, but Asa says they'll be here soon. We thought you had gone into the hills.
I didn't have any money, Aunt Sarah.
What were you thinking of? Why did you do such a thing?
I don't know. I couldn't help myself. I stood there watching them strut past, pushing us off our own streets, lords of the earth, and all of us no more than dirt under their feet. I had to do something.
Oh, they'll kill you. How did we fail you? I so hoped when you came to us.
Does Uncle Matthew know?
Yes.
And he disowns me?
He's worked all his life to build something here and now.
So long as he's comfortable, he doesn't care how the Romans kick the others.
What are you going to do?
If I could hide until they've searched the inn, and then with money and food get into the hills.
Where could you hide that the Romans wouldn't find you?
There's a place in the stable behind the stalls.
No, you can't hide in the stable. There are lodges.
Lodges? You mean in his greed, Uncle Matthew now rents the stable?
The inn was full, and this poor carpenter from Nazareth came to the door, and I persuaded your uncle to let them stay in the stable. His wife is with him, and she just gave birth to a son.
Then it's hopeless. I might as well give myself up to the Romans, but I'll go down throwing more rocks.
No. We'll talk to your uncle. Maybe he'll be able to help you out.
I don't count on his help.
Well, come inside at least. Someone will see us standing here in the courtyard now. Come in.
I shouldn't have come back. Would have been better to starve in the hills or die in the streets fighting the Romans.
No one's keeping you here.
Matthew.
Wherever he goes, he brings grief. Everything he touches turns to violence.
Because I'm not content to live like a slave. Because I'm ready to give up my soft life, this security, and a fight for freedom. Because I think of someone besides myself.
You're the most selfish kind of person. To cut a dashing figure, to set yourself up as a hero, you bring the Roman lash down upon dozens of innocent backs.
Someone has to strike out at them.
No one beats the Romans at their own game. Hit one of them and they'll crucify a dozen of us. Because you hurled one stone, we're all marked as criminals and may die for it.
I don't care. As long as I live, I'll fight. And if it means killing, I'll kill.
Oh, don't talk that way.
You've gotten used to compromising. Well, that's not for me. I've chosen my way. Freedom at any cost.
Your way will carry you to a Roman cross. If not now, later.
Oh, well, we mustn't waste time in quarreling. We must plan his escape.
I can never get through the gates now.
He thought of hiding in the stable.
But the travelers from Nazareth are there.
The carpenter looks to be a kindly man. If I asked him, explained about the boy...
I'd not be in their way. I could hide in the straw behind the manger.
The Romans will find him no matter where you hide him. And it will mean that we must lie to them.
Matthew, he's my dead sister's only son.
Oh, right. Hide him in the stable if the Nazarene will let you, but don't expect to save him, Sarah. Don't expect to save him.
Open! In the name of Caesar!
Huh?
Are you the keeper of this inn, Matthew by name?
I am.
Where's your nephew? He's wanted for the murderous assault upon one of my officers.
My nephew? Why, sir, he hasn't been home since early afternoon.
You're lying, and it will do you no good to lie. You only waste my time. Search the inn!
But my guests are all asleep, sire.
They should be honored to awaken on the Emperor's order. You could have saved them this discomfort by telling us where you've hidden this bloody rascal.
Believe me, sire, I'm innocent in all this.
I should like to think you were. They tell me you've kept a good reputation in the past.
My nephew is a wild boy. We tried to guide him, sire, but he listens to others.
To those who preach rebellion in the marketplace, who sit in their rags and dream of a new kingdom.
The boy is not in any of the rooms, sir.
What about the outbuildings and the grounds?
There's only a small stable in the courtyard.
Search the stable.
Yes, sir.
But there's a poor carpenter there. His wife has just had a child. Do you think...
Well, business must be good, innkeeper. You even rent your stable.
Everyone has come to be enrolled.
Yes, I think I'll have a look at this stable myself.
You're wasting your time, sire.
Let me be the judge of that. Show me this stable.
Carpenter, man of Nazareth.
Yes? Who calls me?
It is the innkeeper. There's been trouble in the town. The soldiers seek my nephew. They asked to search the stable.
My wife is resting.
I'm told you have a son, Carpenter.
A child was born to Mary. He lies now in the manger.
You'll forgive me if I look in.
Of course.
I'll not disturb your wife nor the child.
Forgive me, Carpenter. We force you into our trouble. You know that if the boy is found, you will be implicated.
You did not refuse us haven after we had been turned from a dozen other doors. We could not refuse him.
Carpenter, you have a most unusual child. A new baby. And yet there is something about him. Congratulations. It seems, innkeeper, that you were telling the truth. Lucky that you were.
My wife and I are deeply sorry, sire, that our nephew has made this trouble.
We'll catch up with him. It may take time. But these violent young fools always pay our price. He struck once, he'll strike again. And eventually he'll pay.
I know, sire.
Carpenter, my apologies again for disturbing your wife and the child. Good night.
Good night.
He's not here. Return to the garrison at once.
They're leaving.
Your nephew is safe.
But he must still get past the guards at the gate and into the hills.
He will find a way.
You know, Carpenter, I never before heard a Roman soldier apologize, but he did to you for disturbing your wife and child. Strange.
I'll tell your nephew it is safe to come out now.
Wait. Listen, some new disturbance. Or perhaps the soldiers are coming back.
No, these are not soldiers. They look to be shepherds.
Yes, and Sarah's with them. Sarah, what is it?
Matthew, these are shepherds from the hills. They have come into Bethlehem because...
Because an angel of the Lord appeared to us.
An angel of the Lord?
Oh, you don't believe us. And in truth, friend, we are hard-pressed to believe what we have seen this night.
Uncle Matthew, the soldier's gone.
Yes, they're gone. These men are shepherds.
With a wonderful story to tell.
Oh, I've no time for wonderful stories. I must leave Bethlehem before dawn.
Wait. Listen to what they've seen.
We were resting in the hills. Some of us dozed. Then suddenly, there was a sound.
A sound?
As if 1,000 hands struck 1,000 lyres. And at the same time, there was a dazzling light, as if a star had burst. We were frightened.
And the light. It was the angel?
Yes. And the angel said, "Don't be afraid. For behold, I bring you good news of great joy. For there has been born to you today in the town of David a Savior who is Christ the Lord."
Aunt Sarah, I can't waste my time listening
Be quiet. Go on, a Savior who is Christ the Lord.
"And this shall be a sign to you. You will find an infant wrapped in swaddling clothes and lying in a manger."
In a manger. Matthew, the child born to the carpenter's wife.
Yes. What happened then, shepherd?
Then, where we had seen but one angel, there were thousands. The sky was ablaze with their glory, and they were singing until the very hills seemed to move with the majesty of their music. Glory to God in the highest, and peace on earth to men of good will.
You think they spoke of the Messiah, our deliverer?
We do. We've come to Bethlehem to see this thing that has come to pass.
Tonight, a child was born in this stable. He lies now in the manger.
Carpenter of Nazareth, you have heard what these good shepherds have said?
I have heard.
May we see the child again?
It is not for me to keep you from seeing him. But please remember that she is very tired.
We'll remember. Matthew, can it be the Messiah born here in our stable?
If we are to believe the shepherds.
Surely they couldn't have all dreamed the vision. And the child is strangely beautiful.
He's no ordinary child, Sarah.
For him to come now, in the midst of our trouble, a promise of hope.
Yes, like the song of the angels, peace on earth to men of good will.
Aunt Sarah, Uncle Matthew.
Oh, I forgot.
I know how I can slip past the guards at the gate.
How?
I'll go out with the shepherds. I'll never be noticed as long as I stay with them.
Well, I suppose that's best. Here, take this purse. There's enough money in it to last for a while.
Thank you, Uncle. Someday I'll repay you.
You can repay us now. Promise that you won't make any more trouble.
I can't make that promise. I wouldn't keep it. My course is set, Aunt Sarah. The Romans will learn to fear me, and someday I'll show our people the way to freedom.
The way to freedom isn't hate. It could be his way.
Yes. The way of the child in the stable.
You mean that wild story the shepherds told, the angels and the song of peace?
Yes, peace on earth to men of good will. If this child were the Savior.
I leave you to your foolish hopes, Uncle. Only the Romans preach peace, because it's the way to keep us slaves. I want no part of their cowards' peace. Goodbye, Aunt Sarah.
Goodbye. Be careful.
We must return to our flocks, but we'll tell all of the wondrous things we have seen here tonight.
My nephew begs to walk with you, good Obed. He leaves us now for Jerusalem.
He's welcome. Come, brothers, we must hurry. Soon the dawn will be with us.
Goodbye. Goodbye. He's gone, Matthew.
We couldn't help him, Sarah. His way is set.
So the good shepherds leave. The child sleeps, and so does his mother. What of your nephew, my friend?
He goes with the shepherds. They'll see him safely through the gates.
Carpenter, if carpenter you are, what have you to say of what the angels told?
This child was sent to save our people.
I want to believe this. But for the Messiah to be born here in a stable...
His ways are not of this world, and he does not seek to save us by worldly power.
To save us. And this, too, is the dream of Barabbas.
Barabbas? Your nephew?
Yes, but the dream of Barabbas and the way of this child are not the same. They'll never cross again. Because Barabbas thinks freedom can be bought only through violence.
And this child comes as the Prince of Peace.
Pray for my nephew, Carpenter of Nazareth. Pray that someday Barabbas may know that peace which comes to the men of goodwill.
May we all know that peace. May we be worthy of him.
Listen.
What is it, Matthew?
It was almost as if, for a moment, I heard that mighty chorus of angels making that beautiful promise again.
Perhaps that music will be heard by all men who can find the courage in their hearts to believe that only love can free us.
Yes, only love.
This is Irene Dunn again. I think the charming Christmas story we've just heard, or perhaps I should call it a profound Christmas story, strikes a chord of yearning in all our hearts, especially at this season. We all want peace so very desperately. Peace in the world, but also peace in our families, peace in our hearts and in our individual lives. The kind of peace that the world cannot give, because without God's grace, the world does not possess peace, and no one can give what he hasn't got. Family Theater believes that to find true and equitable and abiding peace, whether among nations or in families, we must all of us turn to the divine source, the only fountainhead of peace, which is God. Peace on earth. Yes, but note the condition, to men of good will. That is why Family Theater urges us all to pray with good will, and to pray together as families. Only in that way have we any chance to attain peace. The family that prays together stays together. And a nation at prayer is a nation at peace.
More things are wrought by prayer than this world dreams of.
From Hollywood, Family Theater has brought you The Crossroads of Christmas, starring Victor Jory and Rita Johnson. Irene Dunn was your hostess. Others in our cast were Eddie Firestone, Pat McGeehan, Howard Culver, Tudor Owen, and Michael Hayes. The script was written by John McGreevy, with music composed and conducted by Harry Zimmerman, and was directed for Family Theater by Joseph F. Mansfield. This series of Family Theater broadcasts is made possible by the thousands of you who feel the need for this type of program, by the Mutual Network, which has responded to this need, and by the hundreds of stars of stage, screen, and radio who give so unselfishly of their time and talent to appear on our Family Theater stage. To them and to you, our humble thanks. This is Tony Lafrano expressing the wish of Family Theater that the blessing of God may be upon you and your home, and inviting you to be with us this coming Sunday when Family Theater will present a special hour-long Christmas program, The Joyful Hour, starring Licia Albanese, Ann Blythe, Scott Brady, McDonald Carey, Jeff Chandler, Perry Como, Gene Crane, Gene Cagney, Bobby Driscoll, Steve Dunn, Jimmy Durante, June Haber, Ruth Hussey, Bill Lundigan, Rita Johnson, Betty Lynn, Stephen McNally, Nan Merriman, Ricardo Montalban, Gigi Perot, Maureen O'Sullivan, Rod O'Connor, Brian Sullivan, and Robert Ryan. Check your local paper for time. Family Theater is broadcast throughout the world and originates in the Hollywood studios of the world's largest network. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
That was Family Theater with Crossroads of Christmas, as originally heard December 17th, 1942. And finally, on Classic Radio Rewind, we have an episode from Casey, crime photographer. Casey uses the nimble fingers of a pickpocket and a 10-ton truck to catch a pair of murderers. From December 19th, 1946, this is Casey, crime photographer with Christmas shopping.
The Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
Hey, Ethelbert.
Oh, hello, Casey.
What's Tony Marvin worrying about over there?
Why, he's writing a holiday poem, and he's stuck for something to rhyme with Christmas stocking.
But, Ethelbert, are you kidding?
Certainly not. Oh, you mean Anchor Hocking.
Oh, gee, fellas, that's wonderful. Anchor Hocking, a great name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole. Our adventure for tonight, Christmas shopping. Late afternoon, a crowded aisle in one of our city's largest department stores. Making slow headway through the jostling shoppers are...
Casey, I've never seen the store so crowded.
We say that every year during the week before Christmas, Annie. Where are you taking me now, huh?
Well, you haven't anything for your Aunt Harriet yet, so I thought we'd look at umbrellas there. On this side of the store somewhere.
Yeah. Annie, look, you can pick up a much nicer umbrella for Aunt Harriet than I can. I trust your judgment, absolutely, Annie. So
Suppose I shop for all the uninteresting items while you go up to the toy department and watch the electric trains again.
Well, you know I've still got to pick up a few more things for my sister's kids, Annie. And hey, Annie, wait a minute. Hang on to your pocketbook. Keep an eye on that little guy in the black overcoat just ahead of us.
Who?
That's Fingers Fogarty, one of the best-known dips in the city.
Pickpocket?
Yep. Shove through this mob a little faster, Annie. Now keep him in sight. I think he's closing in on a prospect.
You mean he's made up his mind about whose pocket he's going to pick?
Sure, smart dips like Fingers don't dive into just anybody's pocket. They hang around bars and wait for some guy to flash a roll, and they tail him. And if he gets into a crowd like this... Look, Fogarty's doing his stuff now, Annie.
No.
Yeah. That big fat guy he just bumped into. Fingers took a wallet from his inside pocket.
Well, I didn't see him.
Neither did the fat guy. Fingers is a smooth worker. Come on. He'll feel very badly when we stop his special brand of Christmas shopping, but pocket picking is considered antisocial. I've got to get Mr. Fogarty.
Well, he squeezed through the crowd. I can't see him anymore.
Neither can I.
Look, Casey, yell out for somebody to stop him.
Oh, well, I yell, stop thief.
Well, you can't let him get away.
He won't get away. Every cop in this precinct knows Fingers. He'll be picked up quick after a charge is brought against him. I'll help that guy who lost his wallet bring the charge.
Yes, if you appear as a witness.
I will.
There's the fat man.
Excuse me, mister. Something happened to you a minute ago that I don't think you know about.
What do you mean?
Your pocket was picked.
My pocket?
Yeah. A little guy bumped into you, and as he did, I saw his hand go into your inside pocket and come out with a wallet. Well, I happen to know who he is, and when you report your loss to the cops, I'll be glad...
You're mistaken, mister. I didn't lose my wallet.
Huh? I'm sure
I'm more sure.
I tell you, I saw him.
When a guy sees something that couldn't be seen, he's either goofy or drunk. On your way, fella.
Well, I'll be...
Good thing you didn't get your hands on Fingers Fogarty. He could have plastered you with a nice suit for false arrest.
And I know he took a wallet from that fat guy's pocket. I was watching every move that Fingers made.
Well, I was watching him, too, and I didn't see him take anything. And that fat man says he didn't lose a wallet, so...
Okay, I'm goofy or drunk.
Or maybe you only need glasses.
Well, I do after this. Several glasses. Let's head for the Blue Note.
You and Casey get your Christmas shopping done this afternoon, Miss Williams?
Well, I accomplished quite a lot, Ethelbert, but not Casey. He got sore, and after that, nothing would please him.
What'd you get sore about, pal?
Nothing.
Oh, he had a little eye trouble.
Oh, gee, that's too bad. Did you see spots floating in front of you, Casey?
My eyes are okay. Now, fill that glass up again, Ethelbert, and don't ask so many silly questions.
Mine, too, Ethelbert.
Right away, Miss Williams.
Oh, now, Casey, don't you think it's about time you snapped out of your grouch?
Well...
It's pretty silly to get yourself all burned up just because you made a mistake.
I didn't make a mistake, Annie. Fingers Fogarty took a wallet from that fat guy's pocket. What burns me up is I didn't find out why the fat guy denied it.
Well, how could you have found out?
Oh, I don't know. But I'm supposed to be a newspaper guy, Annie. Well, we may have missed a story with pictures.
Here's your refreshment, folks.
Oh, thanks, Ethelbert.
Say, have you stopped into your office since you finished shopping?
Hey, bartender, who's the boss here?
Well, what do you want?
You want to buy a nice Christmas tree?
You got some nice ones?
A wagon full of them, fresh from Nova Scotia.
Let's see one.
Well, I'll be right back.
Say, Casey, have you two stopped in at your office since you finished your shopping?
Certainly not. This is our day off.
Then you ain't heard the big news yet.
What big news?
One of your police reporters, Jake Birkin, was in a few minutes ago and tipped me off about it. Gee, he was all excited.
What happened, Ethelbert?
About half an hour ago, the cops arrested the kidnapper and murderer of Gregory Walters.
They did?
Where?
Well, where'd they get him?
Well, like you know, before the Walters family paid over that $50,000 ransom to the kidnapper, the FBI made a list of the serial numbers on the bills, which they circulated all over the country.
Of course, we know all that, Ethelbert.
How's this tree, mister? Nice and bushy, huh?
Let's see one a little taller.
A little taller, okay.
Ethelbert, will you tell us about that kidnapper?
Well, I'm getting to it.
Well, come on.
Well, a guy walks into a tavern over on 36th Street tonight, orders a drink, and hands a barkeep a $20 bill with one of them hot numbers on it. The barkeep checks the number, calls a cop, and when the cop searched the guy, he found about $500 more of the ransom dough in his pocket.
Well, Ethel, but who is the guy who had the ransom dough? The cops identified him yet?
Well, they knew him as soon as they laid eyes on him.
But Ethelbert, who is he? Please.
Hey. Is this tray big enough, mister?
Let's see. Well, let's see one a little thicker around the bottom.
Thicker around the bottom.
Ethelbert, will you please
Casey
tell
and
us?
I know him. He's always been a small-time crook, and I was surprised to learn he was mixed up with anything so big as kidnapping and murder.
Oh, say, will you tell us?
I am telling you. It's that little runt, Fingers Fogarty.
Fingers Fogarty?
Yeah, the dip.
He had Walter's ransom dough on him?
About $500, just like I said. Naturally, Fingers denies having anything to do with the kidnapping. He said he lifted the dough out of the pocket of a guy who was Christmas shopping in S.J. Franken's department store.
Franken's?
Around 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Casey Franken.
And that fat guy denied he's been robbed.
Do you think he was the
I
one?
can't see Fingers as a kidnapper. He's always been just a slimy little sneak thief.
Hey, what's this about a fat guy, Casey?
Annie, come on. We're going to tell Logan what happened in Franken's.
Well, what did happen,
Well, never mind.
Casey?
You'll hear it later, Ethelbert. So long.
So long.
Hey, is this one big enough for you, mister?
I tell them two a whole complete news story in 2 short words, then they run off and leave me out on a limb.
What limb? Too big?
Oh, you. Oh, no, we've got to have a really big tree.
So you think Fingers Fogarty may be just the victim of circumstances, Casey? Circumstances peculiar to his profession.
Miss Williams and I have told you what happened, Logan. You can add it up.
Captain, have you got anything on Fogarty outside of the $500 found in his pocket?
And not yet, Miss Williams. The joint he lives in is being searched, but we don't think he was chump enough to hide the rest of his ransom money there.
If he lifted the 5 C's from that fat guy, he has no rest of the dough to hide.
Now, look, Casey. Fingers Fogarty knows you pretty well, doesn't he?
Yeah, sure, he knows me, certainly.
Now, hasn't it occurred to you that he may have put on an act for your benefit?
I don't get you.
Now, let's assume that Fingers is the real kidnapper. It's been over a year since the ransom money was paid. Fingers has been careful. He hasn't tried to pass any of the 50 grand because he knows it's red hot. But now he figures the heat has died down, so he sends up a trial balloon.
How do you mean trial balloon?
Well, he's got a record as a dip, Miss Williams. He figures if he gets caught passing that dough, we'll believe that he lifted the money from a guy's pocket. And to cinch it, he acts like he's lifting it from a guy's pocket while Casey is watching him. He picked you for his star witness, pal.
Logan, hasn't it occurred to you that the fat guy might have been sending up that trial balloon?
Huh? What do you mean?
Assume the fat guy's the real kidnapper. And he wants to know how safe it is to pass those ransom bills. He knows that Fingers is a pickpocket. Well, he goes to one of the little runt's hangouts and flashes a roll in front of him. And then he leaves the joint, saunters into a crowded store where it'll be easy for Fingers to work, and Fingers does exactly what's expected of him.
That's a reasonable theory, Captain.
Well, sure. If Fingers gets caught passing that dough, the kidnapper learns about it from the papers and continues to let the money cool off. Also, Fingers has a long record. You cops won't believe anything he tells you. You'll tag him as the Walters kidnapper, which will leave the real one sitting pretty. The only thing the real kidnapper didn't figure was that someone might see Fingers take his wallet.
Well, maybe you got something there, Casey. You and Miss Williams have never seen that fat guy before?
No, but we'll know him if we see him again, though.
Definitely.
Your description might fit 1,000 guys in this town. I want you two to go up to the record room and look at some pictures we've got in the files.
Oh, great. That'll only take us about 4 or 5 hours, Logan.
Oh, Casey. And this was to have been our night off.
Perhaps you'll forgive this last-minute reminder, but there are now exactly 4 more shopping days until Christmas. That means a very real problem to those of us who like to put things off, as who doesn't? Is there anyone you've overlooked? Anyone to whom you want to give something beautiful, practical, and inexpensive? Well, you'll find the answer in Fire King oven glass. Whether it's a single Fire King casserole or an entire set of Fire King oven glass, prices are unbelievably low, and it'll take a minimum of shopping time at your favorite chain, variety, hardware, or department store. So remember, with housekeeping a real problem in this post-war era, Fire King oven glass is a gift that makes it easier in so many ways, Because Fire King makes foods go farther and enables you to turn leftovers into delicious main courses. Fire King Oven Glass is a product of Anchor Hocking. A great name in glass.
Oh, I don't recognize any picture here, Logan.
Oh, me either. Oh, golly. Captain, why don't you have some good-looking crooks in your files? I'm going to have nightmares looking at pictures of so many ugly men.
You should see the women.
Logan, you know, there's one picture here that bothers me. It resembles the guy a lot, but well, look at the description that goes with it.
Nick Pensa, Woolstock Prison, discharged 1944, armed robbery. Age 30, height 5 feet. Well, you said your fat guy was a 6-footer and at least 45 years old.
Yeah. He weighed a good 250 plus, too. This Nick Pence's weight is given as only 135.
Well, they can't be the same man, then.
No, not a chance. Funny, though, there is a resemblance.
We need more than that. Let's all go home and get some sleep.
Me for that.
Me, too. I'm so tired I can't think.
I'm falling over. I'll murder anybody who wakes me up before noon tomorrow. Oh, no, thank you. No, thanks. Oh. Hello.
Morning, Annie.
Who's this?
Wake up, kid. It's Casey.
Casey? Oh, Casey.
Casey, yeah, you remember me, don't you?
Yes, I do, and it's only 9 o'clock, and what is the big idea?
Annie, look, I think I know where to look for that fat guy.
You do?
I certainly do. The old bean wasn't working last night. But when I woke up a few minutes ago, I had it. The strong resemblance between that young half-pint crook, Nick Pensa, and our big, fat, 45-year-old guy can't be just coincidental, Annie. They must be relatives, maybe brothers.
Mm-hmm, go on.
Well, I've looked in the phone book and found only one Pensa listed, John Pensa, contractor, who lives and does business out on Dudley Road. I thought you might like to drive out there with me and see what John Pensa looks like.
Why don't you have the cops go out and look at him?
But, Annie, you're not awake yet. Only you and I can identify that fat guy. Besides, if you and I find him, Annie, we get an exclusive. The cops are in on it, every paper in town will have it.
Well, I'm awake now, all right. Where'll I meet you?
I'll be outside your door with a car in 15 minutes.
Casey, I've got to dress.
We'll make it a half an hour then.
We'll make it a full hour and no sooner.
Well, what are you going to dress, yourself or a Christmas tree? Listen, Annie, I can bathe, shave, and get into my clothes in 10 minutes.
I put on underwear. Goodbye.
We're getting close to that address, Annie.
Yeah. This isn't a very attractive neighborhood.
No. John Pensa, contractor, can't be much of a concern.
And John Pensa, contractor, may be no relation whatever to the Nick Pensa in the police files.
The name's very unusual, Anne. I have a hunch.
Uh-oh. There's the place.
Yeah. I'll stop here so we can look the joint over.
Well, there's a concrete garage attached to the house with a good-sized truck inside and room for another.
Concrete mixer in the workyard.
Oh, Casey, established businessmen don't go in for kidnapping. I think we're on a wild goose chase.
Annie, that guy coming out of the garage.
What about him? He's just a skinny little...
Annie, you need glasses and a more photographic memory.
He's the man of that police picture.
Of course, Nick Pensa. Now I know my hunch was right.
He's looking over here.
Well, he's never seen us before, but I'll get rolling anyway.
Now, how can we find out if he has a fat brother?
Well, drop into one of these neighborhood stores and make a few inquiries.
Then what?
Well, how can I tell until I find out what I hope to find out? Annie, you're the darndest girl for asking questions. You really are. Now, let's stop there. Well, we'll stop here. We'll go into this little drugstore right here. The druggist usually knows everybody in the neighborhood. Come on.
Okay, but I think it would be simpler and more sensible to make inquiries at the precinct police station.
I don't want the cops in on this until we know where we stand. Here, let me do the talking.
It's your party, wise guy. You handle everything.
What can I do for you young people?
Hello, Pop. We're going to have, what kind of ice cream soda do you want, Annie?
If I must have an ice cream soda, chocolate.
Chocolate. Same for me.
2 chocolate sodas.
That's right. Oh, by the way, I'm looking for a party in this neighborhood by the name of Pencer. I imagine you know the family well.
Pencer?
Yeah.
Never heard the name before.
You never heard of it?
Change my order to raspberry.
Yes, miss. One raspberry. I'm just a stranger here. Come down from upstate to handle this place while my son's away hunting. Maybe my granddaughter can tell you what you want to know. Say, Katie.
Yes, Grandpa?
Come here. Fella's looking for a party by the name of Penner.
Penner?
No, not Penner. Pencer.
Oh, I know the Pencers. All of them.
You do? That's swell.
Mr. Pencil lives down the street.
Uh-huh.
Over his office. He's a contractor.
What's he look like? Is he...
Is Mr. Pencer short and skinny, and his first name's Nick.
well, Nick Pencer's not the contract.
Yes, he is. Ever since he got out of prison a couple of years ago.
You say somebody's gone to prison, Katie?
No, Grandpop. They've come out.
That serves him right, then.
The man's reformed now.
Oh, that's bad, very bad.
Grandpop's a little deaf.
Yeah, I can see that. Sister, I understand that my friend, Nick, has a brother or a cousin.
No.
Maybe an uncle?
No.
Here's the sodas. Who gets your raspberry?
He does.
Here you are, mister.
Thanks.
And Mr. Casey, you have earned it.
Sister, you mean Mr. Nick Pencer has no relatives at all?
He's got a sister and a nephew.
Oh, that's a great help.
How old's the nephew? About 10?
No, ma'am. It's the funniest thing. Mr. Gus Pencer's a lot older than his uncle.
Huh?
Mr. Gus is Mr. Nick's partner, I think. And he comes in here all the time.
What does Mr. Gus Pencer look like?
Well, he's tall and fat, and in the face he looks like Mr. Nick.
Annie, give me that chocolate. You take the raspberry.
Here's Mr. Gus now.
Oh, Casey.
He's our fat guy.
Mr. Gus, these people were just asking about you. They're friends of Mr. Nick.
Oh, that's bad.
Is that so?
He recognizes us, Casey.
Yeah.
Wasn't it lucky I dropped in here when I did to find friends of Nick's? Grandpop, go back to your back room and put me up 2 bits worth of turpentine.
2 bits worth of turpentine?
Go along and help him, Sissy. He can never find anything.
I'll show him, Mr. Gus.
You two were asking about me.
You've been told that we were.
I noticed a car outside with a press sign on it. Yours?
Yeah.
And you were looking for me because of what you happened to see in Franken's yesterday.
If I said no, you wouldn't believe me.
Right. This hand in my pocket has a gun in it, mister. So do exactly as I tell you.
Okay.
Remember, and don't pull anything.
Here's a bottle of terps.
Thanks, Grandpa. Here's your 2 bits. Come on with me, folks. You said you wanted to pay Nick a visit.
Casey.
We got no choice, Annie.
Right. So long, Grandpa.
Say, ain't you folks going to finish your sodas?
No, we lost our appetites.
You didn't take even a sip of your raspberry, mister.
That's what you think, sister.
Get into your car. Both in the front seat. You drive, fella. I'll sit in back with this gat.
Well, I drive, too.
Just down the street to Nick's place. Mine. He and I are partners in everything. And he'll be tickled to see old friend. Turn into the workyard and park in our garage. And next to the truck there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Now what do we do?
You and your boyfriend don't do anything, lady. And to make sure you don't...
You hit Casey with your gun!
And you get the shape! That'll keep the two of you quiet for a while. Nick! Nick!
Yeah? What do you want, Gus?
Come into the garage, quick.
Okay. Whose car you got in there?
You'll see. Come inside and help me close these doors.
Okay. There. What's the idea?
Take a look inside this car.
Who's the guy and the dame?
They're the two I told you about last night. Saw that dip take the hot dough from my pocket. They got wise to the layout and located us.
They police?
No. These two are newspaper mugs. I figured they were making this play on their own, so we got to take care of them.
We can't bump them off here.
We can. We do it nice, clean, and quiet. Get those big spools of adhesive tape from the house.
What are you going to do?
You'll see. Get that tape.
Got the gal all tied up, Gus.
Then help me with this guy.
Yeah.
Wrap some more tape around his ankles.
Okay. Yeah.
He's fixed now, and solid.
All right. Now climb into that truck and start the motor, Nick.
Oh, the carbon monoxide treatment, huh?
Yeah. Nice, clean, and quiet. We just lock them in this closed garage to breathe the gas. Tonight, when it's dark, we get rid of their bodies in their car. Start the motor.
Ann, I worked the tape off my mouth against that fender. Nod your head if you're okay, kid. Good. I'm going to try to pull the adhesive tape off your wrists with my teeth. I'm getting lightheaded. Gas is beginning to work. I got the tape. Now pull and turn your wrists. Pull more, Annie. That did it. Your hands are free. Pull the tape off your mouth now. Keep your head down low, kid. Try to hold on.
I will.
Pull this tape off my hands.
You better let me free my ankles first so I can get to that truck and shut off the motor.
No. Free my hands. Those two guys may be just outside where they can hear.
Yes, but if it keeps on running, we'll...
If it doesn't keep on running, we'll have no second chance like this. Free my hands.
All right. I've got the end loose.
Pull now. There, that's it. Now, unwind your ankles while I get this stuff off of mine.
What good will it do us? We can't get out of here.
We'll get out. Don't breathe, Dizzy.
This
Get out.
garage is solid concrete. And I heard them lock those heavy doors when they went out. So...
I got my ankles free. Now, hang on, kid. I'm picking you up.
What are you going to do?
I'm putting you in this truck.
This truck? Why?
It's taking us out of here. Keep your head down.
Okay.
I'm driving through those doors.
Okay, we're through. Pure air.
Wait a minute, look. Also, those two Pensa guys, they heard us.
Listen, they have guns, too. Step on the gas, Casey. Drive past them. Let's get away.
I can't.
You can't. What's the matter?
Hold the motor. Duck, they're shooting.
Oh, why are they running away? They're getting into that car.
They're going to try to get away. If I can only get this motor started again. That did it. Now, come on.
Casey, don't drive toward their car. They'll stop
I'm driving
shooting.
into their car. This 10-ton truck does a nice job when it hits that tin can like
Oh, Casey. My nerves will never be the same again.
that. I'll never recognize mine either. Come on, let's call City Desk. Get the cops out here so we can get to the Blue Note. I need another pair of glasses. The kind you fill.
Recently, in a big eastern city, a group of trained men and women called on thousands of housewives and asked this simple question. What kind of container do you prefer for the foods you buy? An overwhelming majority of housewives said they preferred to buy food packed in glass. Among them were a great many mothers of small children, and by a ratio of more than 8-to-1, these mothers said they insisted on prepared baby foods packed in glass. They gave many reasons, as you might expect, but here are the 3 reasons mentioned most frequently. First, glass lets you see what you buy before you buy it. Second, you can heat, serve, and store leftover portions of prepared baby food in the same glass container. And third, these young mothers agreed that sterilized glass containers are cleaner and more sanitary. You can buy an increasing number of the better brands of food packed in glass, and all of the better brands of prepared baby food come to you in Anchor glass containers sealed with tamper-proof Anchor vacuum caps. Both products of Anchor Hocking. A great name in glass.
You didn't kill them 2 kidnappers when you threw that truck at them, Casey?
No, Bethelbert, no. The cops pulled him out of the wreckage in fairly good shape, considering.
They'll be able to walk to the chair.
How about the ransom money? Did the cops find it?
Yeah. Gus, the fat guy, confessed the Walters kidnapping and told where he and Nick had hidden the dough.
Gee, and all because you and Miss Williams did some Christmas shopping. Say, what happened to the little dip, Fingers Fogarty?
Well, in trying to clear himself of the kidnap and murder charge, Ethelbert, Fingers made so many admissions about his own specialty that the cops can keep him in jail until 1999.
Gee, 1999, huh?
Good heavens, Casey, what's that coming in the door?
What on earth?
What do you say, mister? That's the biggest tree I got on the wagon, okay?
Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, now that's what I call a real Christmas tree.
Ethelbert, what are you going to do with such a big tree?
Well, you couldn't get a little tree in that big room.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is brought to you each Thursday at this time by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King Oven Glass. Anchor glass containers, Anchor caps and closures. All products of the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation. A great name in glass. Crime Photographer, directed by John Deitch, is written by Alonzo Dean Cole and is based on the fictional character of Casey, created by George Harmon Cox. The original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Leslie Woods as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. Thursday night on CBS is the biggest show in town, so stay tuned for exciting dramatizations on Reader's Digest Radio Edition, which follows immediately over most of these stations. Now, for our sponsor, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, and all of us on the show, this is Tony Marvin wishing every one of you a joyful and happy holiday at this Christmas time. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
That was Casey Crime Photographer with Christmas Shopping, as originally heard December 19th, 1946. I'll be back with final thoughts in just a moment. Welcome back to Classic Radio Rewind. For more holiday classics, you can continue listening to Christmas episodes by navigating to Old Time Radio USA's live station happening right now. Santa oversees programming this holiday season, so you'll be able to listen to all these holiday classics until New Year's Eve. Just head over to Old Time Radio USA on your favorite listening platform. There are so many different ways to listen. We have our official Roku channel, our official mobile app, our website, and many others. Head over to WOTRRadionetwork.com to see all the different places to listen. One programming reminder as we start to wrap up Christmas and 2024, we are just around the corner from Old Time Radio USA's annual New Year's tradition, our Suspense New Year's Marathon. This begins New Year's Eve night, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That's just in a couple of weeks, and it will be here before you know it. So ring in the new year with Old Time Radio USA and tales well calculated to keep you in suspense. And that wraps up this week's Christmas edition of Classic Radio Rewind. Join us again next week as we offer more holiday classics from the golden age of radio as we continue our salute to Christmas. So for Classic Radio Rewind and the WOTR Radio Network, this is Barry Slinker saying goodbye for now.
Classic Radio Rewind is a production of the WOTR Radio Network. For more Classic Radio Rewind, and to listen to any of the WOTR Radio Network stations, go to www.wotrradionetwork.com.